Love it, love it, love it, love it.
Hey guys, you're listening to the Last Light podcast, and right now I've got myself and DJ on the other line here. DJ and I are having to do this remotely, just due to such a challenging March, which I talked about earlier in one video, and April. It's all just if anything bad could happen, it's happened. So, but DJ and I, we've decided today that we want to tackle something that we know a lot of people. They have various differences of opinions on this matter, but what it is we're talking about is Instagram. Instagram is such a big player for all of us. It's a big part of how we grow ourselves, our channels, our brands, you name it. And there are so many different ways of doing it, and so many trains of thought that DJ and I kind of wanted to discuss some of the ways that many people do Instagram, our feelings on that. There's some good and there's some bad. But DJ, you'll see me look down because I have my phone right here where I'm looking at DJ, but I'm trying to look at my camera as well. And actually right now, I know what I'm doing. I did this yesterday, DJ, where I'm looking at my monitor instead of my camera lens. So I'm going to try now to look at my camera lens. But DJ, when it comes to Instagram, how do you do your Instagram? Do you have any particular ideas, any particular ways that you go about your page?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this is something that me and Chad have really been talking about for quite some time now. It's when you go through Instagram, like I love looking at other photographers' pages. I really, and that's where I get some of my inspiration. I also look kind of at other industries, whether it be auto or modeling, whatever it might be, just to see what kind of colors they have and things like that. But as far as I go, if you look at my Instagram page, it is definitely probably not the most professional looking page out there, but there's a reason for that. I love creating things. I love to find creativity, but it's something that I do with my page is I edit every single photo completely different. I don't use presets. I literally look at the picture and get the feel for what I want the end result to look like, and I just go to editing. And whenever I'm done, it looks good to me. I put it on Instagram, and then I go look at my page overall, and it's just like a big mashup of a ton of different colors, different edited photos. So there's not really a flow to my page. So for me personally, it's on a picture-to-picture basis on the colors. So I don't really have a theme, I guess you'd say, to my page. But how do you do yours?
So I'm pretty much right there with you, DJ. I usually, when I take my photos, I feel like each one has its own mood. It could be, sometimes I may want a grungier feel. If I feel like, let's say if I'm taking a picture of my dad doing some woodwork, well, in my mind, I just feel kind of a manly man type of a photo. You got a guy who's he's getting dirty. He's got maybe some blood on his hands, you name it. Whereas, let's say if I'm taking a picture of my kiddos and they're outside on a semi, real pretty evening, sunny day or whatever it might be. Well, that one I want the mood to be different. I'm going to try to brighten up I might pull up the highlights if I need to, or instead of dehazing it, I might bring it down to where I've got just a real nice, vibrant image. Whereas I know a lot of guys out there, they're going to use a preset of some sort. Many guys will use 1, 2, or 3 presets and stick with those. But for me, I'm afraid if I do that I'm going to lose out on my creative touch. Yeah, I know that they say it's like if you're, it's like riding a bicycle. You can always get it back, but I don't know. I just I know here a while back when we moved, I didn't have a computer probably for 2.5 or 3 months, and there were a lot of techniques that I kind of had to get my feet back under, or the ground back underneath my feet, because I kind of forgot how to do a few things that I might do in Photoshop or something like that. But I'm just like you. I know it doesn't go with what the experts recommend,
Right.
but I'm all about let each photo have its own identity. I mean, let it, yeah.
And that's the thing, and that's really what me and Chad wanted to dive into today is the fact that and this even goes for me, there are certain photographers that I could name some of them right now, and I look up to them very much. I think their work is fantastic. And if you go to their page, they carry the same theme, whether it's crushing the blacks or super vibrant images, whatever it might be. They have that consistency throughout their page, and it looks so good. Like you open up their page and it's all the same, and it looks fantastic. And even I would say, even as a photographer, looking at that, when you open up a page, you're like, oh man, that's clean. It's sleek. It just looks good. And then you open mine, and it's like a smorgasbord of pictures just randomly placed. But then for me, the flip side of that is just like we talked about, the creativity. And I do not take this wrong if you have a theme for your page, because again, it looks awesome, and there's a lot of talented people that do that. For me personally, if I were to use presets, I feel like I would get to where I drug that same preset over every single picture, made a few tweaks here and there, and it's not challenging myself. I'm not at a point in my photography career where I know how to do everything, so I'm still exploring every look, trying to find exactly what my look is. I don't have a look. I don't know exactly what that is, because if you look, like there's sometimes I'll drag my saturation of my greens down, and bring down my saturation a ton, and then you go back and look at some of the pictures I've done for families and things like that, and I mean, it's bringing the saturation up, the vibrance up, really high color contrast. I mean, it's, I just don't know. I don't have a look, but for me personally, I don't want to get stuck in a look, I guess.
Exactly. And that's where I am. And I have a few presets that I made that, now, if I think that preset as a whole might have the moodiness that I'm looking for, I might slap it on just to see what it looks like. Because I've got some that might have a lot of clarity brought into it. They're dehazed. Maybe the blacks are semi-crushed, and but if that fits a mood, I might try it. I might have to readjust. I may have to readjust the temperature of that preset or something like that, or change some things. But I'd say if I use a preset, it might be 5% of the time. Unless sometimes if I'm taking a group of photos of someone, and let's just say I create a look that I like. Now I might turn that into a preset,
sure,
simply because if I've got 10 images taken on the exact same day, same time frame, I know if I create that preset, a lot of the the color, everything is going to be kind of what the same overall. I might have to make some tweaks here and there, but otherwise, I'm not, like you say, DJ. I'm not one to really use presets, and I probably don't have the page growth that I might have if I had a common theme, but. That's it's my personality too that I like to put into each picture. And one more thing I'll say now, if I'm doing a photo for a company who has a theme, I feel like I know what their theme is,
right?
Because there are some companies out there that are more grungy. There are some companies out there that have just a real bright images. Not a lot of they're not going to do any split toning or anything like that for the most part. It's just a clean, basic edit, crisp image. And if that's what they're looking for, and I know if I'm going to be shooting a photo that I'm going to be kind of trying to, if I want to tag that brand in that photo or push that brand through that photo in hopes that they might use that on their feed and give me some photo credit, then I will edit my photo based on the look of their page. So that is one thing to keep in mind too, I think.
And that's a good point to bring up. And for you listeners out there that are listening or watching, honestly, like I will say, something that's in right now is what I would call crushing the blacks. It's that kind of hazy look on your shadows, on your darks that people are doing. That is very in. But if you are looking to shoot work for certain brands, not many brands out there use that look. They want a clean, crisp image, and that's something that people don't really think about what you're saying. Like, companies have themes, and if you're trying to shoot for somebody, then I would try to go after their theme, add your own spin to it, because you want to be creative and you want to show them that you're set apart from anybody else that they're using. But at the same time, if you don't see those crushed blacks in a single photo that they use, I probably wouldn't do that.
Exactly, for sure. So what I would recommend to anybody, let's say you wanted to shoot a photo for bow addicts. I mean, go to our page. Now we're not as themed as probably as we should be, but I know if I go in, if I'm working our social media page, I'm going to go and if I do have a picture that does have some crushed blacks, probably for the next 3 or 4 images, I'm going to maybe I'll go from crushed to not so much crushed to I'll kind of ease into a different thing. but if you go to our page and you're thinking, okay, what type of photos are bow addicts posting, then you kind of want to go for that same type of a look, I guess you'd say. And one thing we do, I mean, nothing against iPhone photos. There's some really good iPhones out there now. I mean, that do some good phones out there that take some really fantastic photos. But for the most part, I'd say 95% of the time or more, we're going to use a DSLR type of a picture or a mirrorless camera type of a picture. So, if you're really trying to up your Instagram game, I would recommend not necessarily the newest, greatest. I mean, like a Canon 70D, a Canon 80D, you can get a good price on those. Same way with like a Sony, A6300, something like that, with just a good basic lens, can get the job done and give you some fantastic photos to where you're not breaking the bank. I guess like we were talking about when it comes down to themes, it all boils down to what you as an individual want. If you're wanting to really, really grow your page, you can still be creative in those photos, and probably have a page that's going to do pretty well because it does have a theme, and everything's going to flow together. But on the same token, I would say try not to get away from your creative juices.
Right.
If you do, I mean, I don't know. For me personally, I like to challenge myself, I guess I'd say. And if you do, if anything, DJ, I think, that individual's got to make sure, well, if I'm not really using my creative juices on the editing side, I know that sounds bad, but if I'm just going to slap 1 or 2 or 3 presets on various images, at least look at your angles. Say how can I shoot this image from a different angle? Maybe shoot low to high. Shoot at a diagonal. Shoot high to low. You don't always shoot straight on. And and then there's different techniques that you can use to where at least you're using your creative juices on the photography side. More so on the post-editing side. So
I had another light on my face over here, and I'm pretty sure it just died. It absolutely did.
I can't tell it. I'm just trying to make sure I'm in focus here. I got a square that pops up, but I got 2 deer heads behind me. Yeah. So if I'm not careful, if I turn my head too much, it goes to focus on the deer heads behind me.
Well,
right now
that's an amateur for you. I've got my manual focus on.
Yeah, well, I had it on yesterday, and it was on for the most part. But I'm shooting at f2.8, and for the guys who don't know, if you're shooting at f2.8 and you got that camera pretty close, your depth of field is short. So I noticed that, man, I can move my face up an inch.
That's funny.
and be, semi out of focus. So I was trying to keep my head in one spot too. So
and something else that we'll continue going on a little bit. I mean, we hate to keep harping on something, but like me and Chad are very good friends. We do shoot some things similar, but as far as editing style, here a while back, we got together and took a bunch of different photos and literally shared each other's files with each other. And he edited them and I edited them, and a lot of them were similar, and then there was a ton of them that were really a completely different edit. And but that being said, like, it's okay to look at other people's edits, but at the same time, like, don't do it because I don't edit a picture in my mind like, oh, I think Chad's gonna like this. I edit it as in, oh, I really like this. If I hope somebody else does, but if they don't, it's not a big deal because like it's mine. Like I created it. This is the way that I see it. So make sure that you find your own. And like I'll tell you, Chad sent me a preset that he created the other day, and I told him I slapped it on a few photos, and before I knew it, I had changed every slider in that preset. Like it just wasn't. It wasn't me. It's not that it looked bad. It just wasn't. It wasn't me.
And that's a good point. And whereas. And I'm day to day. I could edit a photo.
Yeah.
I've edited photos, and going back in a month or two later, let's say I haven't used that photo yet on Instagram or Facebook, and totally re-edit it in a different way. Or I've had it edited, and I might go into my Lightroom mobile app on my phone and throw something on there and be like, wow, I like that much better. So that can happen plenty of times. And like DJ was talking about the preset that I sent too. And that's one thing, guys. If you're using Lightroom mobile or something else, very, very, very seldom will a preset work for you every time.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know if I've ever.
It never will.
No. Maybe one out of every, maybe one out of 500 or one out of 1,000 might work.
I could go in and create a very minor one that I could apply to most of mine, because I don't know if you're the same, but as soon as I put a picture in, which my exposure depends on the picture, so I can't say that. I'm normally, a lot of the time, I bring my vibrance up around that 10, 15 mark, my saturation down about 7, but I almost always put a slight S curve.
Right.
But I mean, that's really about all I could do.
Yeah.
That would go with every picture.
Well, and here's the thing about it. Let's say you shot that photo and your white balance was off. And most of the time, a preset will still have there'll be some tweaks to the white balance.
Right.
Maybe it's warmed up, cooled down. Maybe you have more magenta. You may not. You may have more green, but whatever it might be, I see it all the time where somebody will slap a preset on a photo where the white balance was nothing like. You can't take a preset, let's say, that was made for a photo during bright daylight hours, and all of a sudden you're shooting almost close to dark because your white balance is going to be so different.
Yep.
It's the same thing about depending on your light. Your shadows may be way different. Your blacks may be way different. Your whites, you name it. So even with that preset I made, DJ, I mean, every photo I put that on, I had to go in and do adjustments. But if someone's shooting with a Canon, the color profiles are going to be different too.
Right.
So what might look good for me shooting with a Sony, that you might slap that preset on a photo that you've taken with a Canon, and you may have to readjust your reds, because typically there's a difference there. Just a number of different colors that might have to be tweaked. So just remember that if you are working with presets, I mean, there's a good chance that you've got to change things around. But back to our original point is I rarely use presets, and I love it when people say, "Hey man, what filter did you use?" I'm like, I didn't use a filter. I mean, I have 6 hours in the edit, because I can have 30 minutes in the edit, or I can have up to 6 or 7 hours in certain edits, because I might go from Lightroom to Photoshop, back to Lightroom. because they're, each picture to me, I have certain photos that, man, I just really want to get in there and I mean, to be honest, let's say I've shot some photos on a sunny day. I've gone in, put clouds in, I've put rain in, I've put snow in, because I just felt that picture could have gone different places, and that's the fun of editing. I mean, it's like Bob Ross said, it's your world. You can you can do whatever it is you want to do with it, or something like that. I forgot how he worded it.
Can you create? I know it takes some time, but could you create a preset that would make me look better?
No. The answer is no. Yeah, it would be solid black. Oh, crush everything. Exposure 0 down to 0, negative, whatever.
You have to. You can also see now that light's off, my hand's like way overexposed, but it's not that there's so much light coming in. It's my pale skin that just radiates light.
Yeah, we're going on a spring break vacation here soon, and usually we go to a big water park. And I just had a huge chunk of skin cancer taken off my back, and I've got this massive, 7-inch scar with all the stitch marks on my back. I'm like, I'm not taking that chance. But I'm so pale. So I mean, Mandy bought some of this rub on, tan stuff, and so that's pretty much all I use now. But it gets on everything, man.
Yeah.
I've
never used rub on tan stuff.
Oh, I tell you what, I feel like I've got little spots that pigmented spots that start showing up on your skin. So but I went to a funeral, and a lot of it is actually, it's like this pigmented. Sun, man, what do you call it, DJ? Protectant, sunscreen, but it's got this built-in, I guess, pigment to it that helps you to at least, it makes you look like you're dark, but it gets on everything. So I had a tie on and everything, and so I mean, I had all this stuff on it, and I don't know.
The only way I would wear any kind of...
My wife calls me powder. I mean, I'm so pale.
Me too.
She makes
but
fun of me.
I just ain't doing a self tanner unless I can get my wife to apply it and we can turn on some Marvin Gaye. And
yeah, maybe for my back, Mandy might do that. But other than that, I don't. It's just pretty much that's the problem with it. I'll be all nice and dark and tan looking in the front, but you can't reach your back. I'll have all these smear marks back there. So,
back to Instagram. That was a rabbit trail, as we have them always. But anyway, if you have... I edit on Lightroom. I know a lot of people only use Snapseed, and Chad uses Snapseed for a couple of different things that he edits. I do not. I used to. That's actually what I started editing on, and then whenever I moved to Lightroom, I went to it. But I'll tell you, what I would do if you were really trying to learn how to edit and figure out your look on the Lightroom mobile platform, whether it's on your phone or on the computer, you can go to the Learn tab. There's a Learn, and scroll through. And I don't know if you even know this, Chad, or not, but you can scroll through and look at these different pictures, and you see one, you're like, hey, I really like the look of that. You can click on it, and it's literally a step-by-step. Will show you the beginning and the after, the before and after, and it'll show you how they edited that photo, like every slider they moved, every little thing they added in. Like on that Learn tab, it will teach you exactly how to edit that photo from start to finish, how they did to get that look. And I've done it, 100 times just to see, like, oh, I like the colors they got on that. Like, how did they get that? And go in and look at it and see. And that's how I've learned a lot of what I learned, is watching that Learn tab on Lightroom.
Right.
I wish we had an affiliate link for Lightroom, but
yeah. Well, the same applies on YouTube. There are different channels out there that are kind of dedicated to Lightroom presets, mobile Lightroom presets, and I've gone in, because I have to admit, there's some guys that have some cool looks, and I have bought presets. I didn't really buy them to use them, but I bought the presets so that I could see, man, how did this guy get that look that I like?
Right.
And what it does, it's a teaching, I guess, platform for me, or teaching tool. that I can use. And if anything, I might go in, take a picture of mine, slap that preset on, make some adjustments, some changes, get it to where it looks, it has a look that I'm looking for. And I might save that preset, or I might do it in three different ways. I might get 3 different photos that have, let's say, different exposures, things like that, different, maybe they're shot at different times of a day, and take that preset, and I might just have 3 different tweaks that if I did want to try it in the future as a starting point, then I might do that. So there again, I have some presets that I might throw on as a starting point, just because I know the look they have. I've got one that's really contrasty. That's a look that I don't normally use, but it's got some, like I say, it's really vibrant, you name it. But it's a cool look. It's just that when I use it, you talk about sticking out like a sore thumb, DJ. I mean, man, but there again, there's some looks about it that I absolutely love in the summertime. But it's not one I'd use in the wintertime. But there again, it's me trying to use my creativity on those things, and so.
Well, we're coming up on 26 minutes right now. I'm using the A7 III, so my camera is going to cut off here shortly. Actually, I just stood up because I'm pretty sure it just overheated, so I turned it off and back on. So I may not be on this part of the video for video, but ultimately what we're saying to close this out is, if you have a theme, it's okay. Like, it looks good. Like, I am not discouraging anyone. Like, if you're going to commit to that, commit to it and don't veer from it. Like, you don't want to have 10 pictures in a row as a theme and then just mix it all up and then go to a different theme. Like, that starts looking like you can't decide. But either have a theme or just edit every picture individually. Like, I'm going to keep editing the way that I am and have different stuff, and mine may not be the cleanest, sleekest look that there is, but just be creative, be yourself. Don't do something because somebody else is. Don't steal someone else's ideas. Don't, just be you. Find what you like, and yes, you got to get inspiration from somewhere, but make it yours. Make sure that you're not just trying to copy exactly what somebody else is doing.
Exactly. DJ, I've got you where people can my phone is held up by my face in case people can't see you, but they get to kind of see a small version of you, the miniature version. Yeah. But and I'll add to that real quick, the fact that like you say, be yourself. But if any of you guys are interested in presets that DJ or I could make, well, we might make some. We could sell some. There might be a premium price tag on them. But
definitely a premium price.
Yeah, right. Hey, man, we got to make money somehow or another. But yeah, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this conversation. It could go either way. There's plus and minuses on both. DJ and I just gave you our take. Feel free to comment when if you listen to this, and definitely rate us. We love a good 5-star review. If you're watching on YouTube. We love to have your comments. We love for you guys to subscribe. If you want to hear some additional maybe some content on something similar, let us know, and we'll be sure to do that. But we appreciate all you guys listening. As you know, God loves you. We love you. And guys, thank you for all you do. Thank you for tuning in. We definitely appreciate it. And until next time, just keep on keeping at it. I always say that, then I forget what I'm going to say after that. So, see you guys.
I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.